Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ Goons podcast. I'm your host, Tim the Mushmaster Spriggs, and with me as always every week is...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's No New Nico Ball, and I was just about to say, Tim, I don't think there's room on the couch for the three of us. Like, have you just been carrying this around since you won?
No, I have not. I was going to bring it to Nogi practice, to Ty's class on Friday night, but I guess it was a staff day and nobody was there. So next time I go to Crazy 88, I'm definitely bringing the belt with me. Just to share with the crew, everybody that helped me get this victory and become the best grappler on the face of the earth.
You know, it is pretty nice. Yeah, I only saw it on camera last time, actually. So, it's got these little diamonds on the side. We got little diamonds.
Yeah, it's got little cubic zirconia on the side, gold
It's got a
and
little weight
leather.
to it.
Yeah, it's pretty damn heavy. It's one of the lighter belts that I have in the collection. If you can't see over there, there's several belts that I've won, several trophies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 trophies.
Yeah.
5 trophies, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
2 swords.
Mm-hmm. A couple novelty checks over here.
I'm mad that you did not get a check for the $30,000. Like, obviously the $30,000 is more important, but it would have been just dope to be able to at least put it all out on the wall.
Yeah,
So those are dope.
I just displayed for everybody that's listening at home and not watching. I just showed one of my $1,000 submission bonus checks from this past weekend or last week or.
Remember Bub Subs.
Bub's Naturals, yeah. Shout out to them for giving us money for tapping people out. It's been a very crazy last 2 to 3 weeks for me. I can't even front.
I can imagine. So, have they paid you yet? Like, how do they pay you out? Like, do they take out taxes and all that other kind of stuff? Do they just...
They just said they're going to send me a bank transfer with the money.
So you're just going to get, $32,000 lump sum?
From what I read, yes. That's what should happen. They said 4 to 5 business days. So I'm going to wait until Wednesday to slander them online if I don't get my money.
Don't slander them online. Do not slander them. Slander them personally first.
Slander them personally first.
Well, I wonder if anybody else has gotten any money.
I don't think so. I would hope not. Fuck them. I want my shit first.
See, my experience with Flow Grappling and their payroll is... It's a pain in the ass, but I'm a contract worker. It should be a little bit different when you're getting out cash money paid out in $32,000. That's wild.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's the most money that I've ever had at one point, at one time in my bank account. Yeah.
How many bank accounts do you have?
How many?
Yeah.
I have 5.
Okay, because you need to disseminate that money so that you don't spend it all at one time,
Oh no, I have a plan for everything that I'm gonna do once I get it. First and foremost, I'm dumping Wells Fargo. I'm dumping them. That's a shitty bank, so fuck them. I might just give it a Bank of America where I have my business accounts.
I hate Bank of America too. I've gone through so many different banks though.
Yeah, and I'm gonna invest this money for real. I'm not gonna be a crypto cowboy like I said in the post-fight interview. I'm going to be very savvy about how I spend it and how I use it to work for me because I don't really have much that I really want. There's not much that I really need, so I'm just gonna make the money work for me. But I'm definitely dumping these banks. I'm doing a whole auditing process about my spending in my life. So a lot of shit's gonna go.
No more girls, no more drugs, no more.
I mean, the girls and drugs was never an issue. I never really. I mean, yeah, I like girls, but I don't really do the drug thing. I just like food. And beer and the occasional nice outfit that I'll get. But besides that, I don't really spend money on anything.
Are those Hawaiian shirts expensive?
No, not at all. I'm a very frugal individual.
Have a
Expensive clothes does not equal taste. It does not equal fashion sense. So it don't really mean nothing to me to spend a little bit of money on some clothes, but I'll make it look fly. But yeah, having that little cushion really helps. And I have a lot of other things on my plate that can lead to even further income down the road. And speaking of which, I'm looking for someone that can help me produce a instructional. I'm trying to create an instructional series with several different ones, not just the train wreck system, but a little bit of my gi and no gi systems. A lot of no gi because I'm the best no gi grappler right now, and I want to capitalize on that and not have to. Well, now I don't really have to worry about fighting to make a living for now. That's what I'm really looking forward to do,
you just
and
gotta worry about
traveling.
spending your money, and
Hmm.
I said you don't have to worry about fighting. You just have to worry about spending your money.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I want to travel and do seminars. I've already gotten a couple offers, but I'm looking to travel. I've talked to some people in Europe to just get something set up and just enjoy the fruits of my labor while, getting more fruits of my labor. You know what I mean? Like capitalize on it, hit while the iron's hot, and just enjoy life. I've been enjoying life. It was rough before I won. It was a very hard transitional period for me, but now everything that I really want is at my disposal. And the most fun I have about this is being able to talk shit, and not like talk shit in a negative way, but just to say haters get off my dick. You know, I think this past weekend I proved to all the haters wrong. I proved to myself that I've evolved. I proved to myself in the world that I can submit everyone. I can submit anybody. I'm the best in the world, one of the best in the world, and I would like to think that in the years to come, people remember me for being an elite grappler and one of the best Americans to ever do it, and just one of the best to ever do it. If we're looking at skills and gi and no gi, hopefully people remember me for the positive things I did in the sport. So that's what means the most. I mean, the money helps tremendously, and we can get into that a little bit later. But yeah, that's how I feel.
And that's what's up. That's what's up. So you are going down to Atlanta, right? That's
Savannah,
Atlanta, Savannah to yeah.
Savannah. I'm going down to Savannah with Musin, where COVID isn't real down south.
Yeah. Are you worried about the anti-vaxxers that might be populating Savannah?
No, because I'm pretty sure by the time I go down to Champions Training Center on November 13th, I'll get a booster shot in me.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
gonna get a booster too?
Yeah,
How do you?
if the booster's available, or I'll find a way to finagle my way into getting the booster
Oh,
shot.
you're just gonna go up and run up on them and steal that joint?
I mean, it's not really stealing. It's
Mm.
not really stealing if you need it.
I mean, I'm sure in DC or Baltimore somebody is peddling that booster, like low key, under the table.
Yeah, of course. There's always a black market for everything.
Like all the people that are getting caught with the fake vaccination cards.
What's funny about that is the amount of trouble that you get in for having it and the amount of trouble you probably had to go through to get a fake one. You could have been vaccinated.
I mean, no, it's like the anti-vaxxers. They have no logic. No, I mean,
Since when does logic matter in this world,
not for
Rico?
them. So it's like, but it's funny because somebody hit me up and they were asking. They were on their way to a concert. They're like 5 minutes away. They're like, "Do you know how to fake one?" I was like, "No, go get your vaccine, motherfucker." Like,
Oh, they're not letting people in venues and shit without it
I
now.
know,
I went
like.
out the other night, last night, and they just said like you need your vaccination card or either a picture of it with you or else you can't be up in here, mask or not.
Mm. It's weird times. It's weird times. How do you feel about that? Well, clearly you have your card, but
How do I feel about what?
needing your vaccination card.
I mean, tough shit. You couldn't go to school, at least when I was growing up, without being vaccinated. Everyone in America, for the most part, has been vaccinated. Shit, people that are born in different countries, they got the little pock mark on their arm from and being inoculated. You ever see like, or older people, that
Oh,
little mark?
everybody from outside of the U.S. has that mark.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
they give them a huge booster shot when they're little. I
but they're
remember getting.
alive right now.
Exactly. So I don't really care that you can't go into venues. I don't know if that's going to translate to combat sports. Definitely not the UFC because that's run by anti-vaxxers and right-wingers. It might be the future though. I mean, it all depends about liability and whether someone gets sued. I think everything's the Wild West until someone's pockets get hurt. So I think once it becomes the vaccines become acceptable for children of all ages to use, then it's going to be an issue of liability, and they're going to say, "Hey, it's you have to get it, and if you don't get it, you can't be in here, and if you try to fake it, you go to jail. You know, you got to fake one, or you just will sue you." If you can get sued, and then people will be like, It's funny because there's an NBA player that Andrew Wiggins, he plays for the Golden State Warriors, and he was super anti-vax and said he wasn't gonna get it until the league and the Warriors said that he's not gonna get paid for the home games because in California you can't for some rule like you can't be in the building or you can't compete unless you've been vaccinated, and if he can't play he doesn't get paid, so he would lose millions of dollars half his season.
Oh, of course he's getting that vaccination then.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
No, he ain't messing around with that.
oh no, he's not fucking up his money.
I know a couple people that had to do it because of work. Definitely not making those kind of dollars, but you know they still were forced to get vaccinated.
I mean, yeah, it might not be that. It might not be as much money, but it's just as important to them because that's their livelihood, you know. Shit. I know there was not very many. I mean, there were some people that probably weren't vaccinated in that venue. I'm actually pretty damn certain there weren't, just because it's Texas. Oh, by the way, there was a celebrity in the back. For who's number one? It's hilarious. Who famous person that was in the back?
Who was it?
Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist, you know, that piece of shit. The
Oh
Sandy Hook
yeah,
denier.
I saw him on
Yeah.
the Flagrant podcast.
Yeah.
I think he got one taken down because of all the crap that he was saying about COVID. Like the CDA like went on to like or CDC went on to like YouTube or somehow it got flagged and his interview got taken down
Yeah.
because he's that crazy.
He's that
That
crazy.
crazy.
I find it very interesting how people say my freedom of speech, but yeah, you have freedom of speech. It's not like you got sent to the gulag for saying those things, but you're on someone else's platform and they don't have to let you say crazy shit on their platform. Like if you go to the Apollo on amateur night and you start singing in your ass cheeks, the Sandman comes and drags you off. Same thing with YouTube. But one thing I noticed about Alex Jones is that he's really fat and he has very skinny legs and he waddles when he walks.
Oh.
It's hilarious.
Is it like a proportion thing or is it just like independent of your weight
All right,
and your leg size? That
all
you
right.
waddle?
Imagine a snowman with instead of having twig arms, had twig legs underneath him.
That is so. Mm.
He's shaped like a snowman in his torso,
And he's
and he
saying
has
all this
skinny
crazy
little
stuff. So like a
legs.
snowman from the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Basically, yeah. He looked like you know what? That's a perfect analogy. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Jack Skeleton legs and evil boogeyman body.
Oh, and tis that season. Tis that season. It's October. It's about to be my birthday. It's about to be DJ's birthday.
It's supposed to be my birthday.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't have any plans though. You know, it's funny. Before this tournament, I had no plans for my birthday. I still kind of don't, but I never had plans for my birthday. I might go out for my birthday.
Where are you gonna go?
I have no idea, but I want to do something fun. A couple years ago, before COVID, the last year before COVID, 2019, was it 2019? Yes, it was 2019. I went to Europe with some people.
Oh, you trying to go out?
No, I just talking about how I went to Europe. There's
Oh,
no
okay.
way. It's my birthday's 2 weeks from now. There's no freaking way that I'm gonna plan a cross international trip. Not during these times. No, and you know I won't be smart with my money. But yeah, before this tournament, I didn't. It was rough, man. It was pretty rough.
Uh,
What?
Are we gonna talk about how rough it was publicly, or you want to talk about Brazilian nationals?
Um, let's save
Mm.
my journey
Yeah.
for the Patreon.
Okay. So
If you guys want to hear what was going on with me, and for our patrons, you want me to break down the matches in detail, you guys are just going to have to subscribe to the BJJ Goons Patreon at patreon.com/BJJ where I will tell you all the details, not just about what my life was like as far as financially and just life, real life stuff, but other projects I had and still have going on and how they're affected by this victory in a
Yo,
positive light.
Tim never ceases to amaze me. Never. Like, I'm looking over here at this stuff that we got off camera, and like, he just had me dying laughing. Like, but anyway, that's for the Patreon. That's for the Patreon.
Yeah.
what we are gonna talk about. I was gonna ask you, have you seen any of Brazilian Nationals that's happening today in Rio de Janeiro?
Unfortunately, no. I have not been able to watch any of the Brazilian Nationals. Since I got home, my life has been a clusterfuck, and you know exactly why. Uh, and I had to clean the studio today. I had an interview on Jamie Kilstein's podcast. Yeah, it's been a very crazy day for me. I have not. So I guess for once, you're going to be giving me the BJJ news and all the nitty gritty about what's going on. And I want to know.
Oh, it's not all of the nitty gritty. I got more like the BJJ gossip. So like, what I do know
Ooh.
is Lucas Gilberto, he fought. Have no idea what happened to him. Missed all his fights. Just know he fought. He was a former guest. Feel really bad. I'm gonna follow up. Yara Suarez, though, she was fighting. I did follow up, and I got to catch some of her fights, because Brazilian Nationals, it's live, and you can go back and see all of the fights, but it's like old school where it's just filmed by the mat, so it's like all day of the mat. So the only way I was able
Brutal.
to see these fights was they had the schedule on IBJJF, or it might have been, I don't know if you could get to it through IBJJF or you had to go through the Brazilian side, but you could definitely find the schedule and see when people were fighting on the mats. But my partner in Brazil, he was at the tournament, so he would just tell me when somebody was fighting on a certain mat, and if I was free, I would run over to the computer and I would record it. So Yara Suarez, of course, had to fight Gabi Passanha once again. So Yara was able to take Absolute. She won Absolute. No, I'm sorry. Yara won in the weight division, but lost to Gabby in Absolute. So again, they go out 1-1, but this time Gabby took home the check for 7,000 reais.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yara took home a check for like 2,000 reais, which was really dope.
And you got to see the match, or you just?
I saw the first one. The second one, when they were fighting Absolute, I had to get ready to come over here. So
Wow,
I
it
missed
just
that one.
finished.
Yeah, so they were fighting this afternoon. So that was really dope. Another thing that was really awesome was that Buddha from Saturday Kids Project. I don't know. I talk about him a lot. There's been a couple articles written about him on favelajujitsu.com, but he is somebody that used to be like, in jail. He was arrested in Rio for being like associated with drug trafficking, and he spent 5 years in jail. And anytime I would ask, like, I'd be interviewing people in the favela, like, about athletes in jiu-jitsu and like stories that they wanted to tell people, anecdotes or whatnot, they would always talk about Buddha and how he was really good at jiu-jitsu, but then ended up getting arrested. So once he got out of jail, he did come back to training and competing, and he's just been killing it. So he won gold in the Masters 1 division, and he got his black belt on the podium from Tedide's cousin Fabricio. So that was really dope. That happened today. So I'm really happy. I wish I could go down to Rio. You say you're not down for international trips, but as soon as I can walk again, I'm taking my ass to Rio.
I need to take a trip to Rio.
Yeah, you should, because I got all of these suitcases I need to take.
I want to do seminars.
I mean, we could do seminars. Yeah.
I want to do
But-
seminar. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to travel and get paid while I travel.
I want mules to travel with me. So if you'd like to go to Rio de
Whoa,
Janeiro, I have
whoa, we gotta be careful
250
saying
pounds.
that.
I mean, no, I know what TSA says, but I just want to give you a suitcase. It's no gi girls apparel, I swear, on mothers. It's not drugs. I keep the drugs on my personal. No, no.
The feds is listening. The people is listening.
Just listening. Yeah, the numbers are going up, but
It's all. The numbers are going up.
mm-hmm.
You got to commend me because after I won that tournament, I definitely plugged that podcast super freaking hard. That's
You killed the whole damn interview, and we talked about it on the Patreon, so we ain't gonna repeat that. Last when the Patreon dropped, it dropped on Mondays, so
yeah.
right when Tim got back, and then he talked all about it. So if you want to hear more about like his reaction and whatnot, slide on over to the Patreon. Just drop 5 on it. And yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm gonna lean up into this camera right now.
I mean, yeah, I was. I had to plug the pod. Do you think now that the numbers are going up that there's spies that run and tell people things? I'm just, I'm on my Instagram and you know I got Gordon Ryan just running his mouth like it's just hating. It's like hate, 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 and like it's so crazy. Like when he hates, all his little racist incel fans just chime in too, and I'm like, wow, you guys are really weird. Like
They are really
that's
weird.
really, I mean, like, all right, so let's take Gordon for example, right? This guy is allegedly having the best life ever. Like, he's so rich and he's having such a good time in Austin, but all he does is just comment creep and just, I feel like he just lives and dies by the comment
He likes to
section.
troll. All he ever does is troll people, and yeah, I don't know.
You think he's
It
special?
is.
Because, like,
Maybe on the spectrum,
I
but
know, cause I talk to, cause I have friends outside of jujitsu, right? And they know about my life, and like I tell about it, and they found out about this person. They're like, "Is he special?" Like Tim, you're super smarter than him. Like, don't pick on him. Like, don't be mean to him. Like, he's kind of special. Like, like, and if you beat him up, is you're beating up a special person. Like, that's not fair. And like, I started to think about it. Like, something is wrong with him.
I mean, I think something
why you so quiet?
because it's like because my first thing is like I think there's something wrong with like a lot of people in jujitsu, and then it's like, but like we don't even have the excuse because people in football sustain so many more like head injuries, but they don't be like that on Instagram.
But I'm like, it's like I go away. I'm away for hours, right? Hours. I come back. Brrr, like I'm like,
I mean, that's how people on social media are. The Reddit warriors, like
it's so nuts. And another thing too, like he keeps talking. I, I mean, we gotta talk about Gabe Stevenson. We gotta talk about the NIL, name, image, and likeness with the NCAA and all that stuff. But I will say this too, man. You can't talk trash, and then when someone says, okay, let's handle it, you can't just be like, oh, I'm sick. Like, that's not how that works. That's not how it works. I can't go out there and be the guy that you've been ducking for a year, and then you say something reckless to me, and I'm like, all right, let's handle it. You're like, oh, I can't fight you because I'm sick. But watch me do this 15-minute match. Where even if I tap the person, I either go a whole 15 minutes, but I'm near death. I'm going to die any day now because my tummy hurts.
yo, and we never talked about Dennis either, did we?
Oh, we did
We
not.
did not bring that
Another
up.
guy that runs his mouth and
In
is a
case y'all
pussy.
did not hear, or better yet, see, who were you the one that told me about that? That was classic.
The streets told me, so the streets
Oh,
probably told you.
yeah.
So Dylan Dennis was drunk at some Jersey Shore bar.
Oh, it's got to be the Jersey Shore. Y'all remember like Snooki and all of that?
Jay
Like,
Wow,
it's not all the Sopranos,
Ronnie.
yo. It's not all the Sopranos. Like Jersey is more like the Jersey Shore. Like,
Hmm. That's your area though, Philly, New Jersey area, the
oh,
tri-state.
as soon as I was legally able, I moved to the DMV. Okay, so yes, I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, but I claim DC until somebody would be like, "Yo, meet me over by the shrimp boat or Heckinger Mall," and then I'd be like, "I'm from fucking Philly, y'all." Like, but
The Heckinger Mall. Oh my
everybody always want
god.
to talk about Heckinger Mall. I don't know how to get there.
uh,
Anyway, Jersey boy, drunk in Jersey.
and he gets gaffled by security. He gets put in a rear naked choke by security. Now,
That blonde ass hair, looking so.
he was probably really fucked up, and he probably was like, if I beat these people up, I'm gonna get even more charges. And sometimes people get so drunk that they just can't have any body control, and they're like, "There's no way, I just give up." That's what it looked like. Like if he was in a fair one with that security guard, he'd probably beat the shit out of him, but he's probably hammered, maybe coked out of his mind, like his boy Conor McGregor, and it was a wrap for him. And there's a mugshot of him, and
Oh, it's just so great by a waiter. Like after all of the smack talking that he did, that he does. to get choked out by a waiter.
It was a waiter.
Or who was
I
it?
think it was a security guard.
Whatever, but in a restaurant.
It
I
was
didn't think it was.
there's
I
some
didn't.
top flight security of the world, Craig type shit. It wasn't no real. It wasn't like a real police officer. It was like, I work here for minimum wage. I'm getting like $10, $15 an hour to watch this door, and I just beat up a drunkard. It's pretty sad. It's pretty pathetic, and I'm not even trying to be mean. It's really fucked up how he kind of let all this shit, like, he just is. It's a mess. He's a hot ass mess, and he had a lot of opportunities to get things right. And I'm starting to see with a lot of people that they're up for a minute. The world is their oyster, but they get in their own way, or they're just pieces of shit, and eventually the world conspires to give them what they deserve or what they work for, whether it's good or bad. And it's a damn shame because, man, the guy had every opportunity to be an MMA superstar. If he really wanted to, he could have been an asshole, but if he was working towards goals, if he was intelligent enough to know how to go about his business, if he didn't let the character Dylan Dennis get in the way of Dylan Dennis, the martial artist, he'd be in a way better situation now. But now Dylan Dennis is a punchline or a cautionary tale. Speaking of a cautionary tale, someone wasting their potential, Jon Jones. Jon Jones.
We're seeing a lot of this. Like people, I don't think people are knowing how to regulate their behavior anymore. There's a lot of people doing drugs. A lot of people just hyped up on their own clout, and they don't know how to like reflect on themselves and like just keep it real with themselves. I don't know. It's really hard. A lot of times we think we're doing a lot better, but if we don't have anybody to hold us accountable, like and tell us that we're fucking up.
It's pretty sad with Jon Jones. I remember when he first blew up, and I was not around, obviously, when Muhammad Ali was coming around, but I'm watching the Ken Burns documentary a little bit, and the meteoric rise, the way that Jon Jones was just a supernova. He came out of nowhere and just dominated and went right to the top of a new sport. The new boxing, like they said boxing was dead. Obviously it's not, but when MMA was still in its infancy in the public eye, and he's a superstar and he's doing incredible things and he looks unstoppable, and now he's kind of like a lot of fighters that hit rock bottom, lose their damn mind, get caught up in drugs, keep doing the same mistakes over and over again, beating up their spouse. And I mean, you can't be beating up white women. Like, what's wrong with you?
You can't beat up any women.
No, I'm just.
Tim. You can't beat up any women.
You can't. But I'm just saying, Nico. You know what I mean. You can't be doing stuff like that. No, in Vegas. Oh hell no. But all jokes aside, I'm being dead serious here. The sad part about the situation was this man was put in Hall of Fame. Not him individually, but his fight with Alexander Gustafsson. One of the greatest fights in any sport, one of the greatest sporting events, moments I've ever seen. It's put into the Hall of Fame. And that night, he gets drunk, liquored up, coked up, whatever. He goes back to his hotel room and he beats on his girl, his woman.
Doesn't know how to celebrate.
I mean, no, he doesn't. That's like the antithesis of a celebration.
I mean, a lot of people need some therapy. Don't know how to control their emotions, especially when you have them highs. Come to find out, he might be like bipolar or something like that.
Which is super scary because the guy likes guns and he can fight.
Because you talk about, have you seen that new song by the Baby?
No, I haven't.
I forget.
I thought he was canceled. The Baby was canceled.
What did he get canceled for?
Oh, it's a long story. It's in the past now.
The song makes sense though. It's like a good song. It was a Baby and Wheezy, and they're in like an insane asylum, and it kind of talks about all the trauma that he went through, and then he's like, "Yeah, y'all expect me to be normal," and kind of just like laughing through it, but.
And he beat her up basically, and then his daughter had to be the one to say, "Yes, we need the police."
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to admit that stuff, It's very hard, especially right after you're suffering through that.
Damn, yeah. I mean, I hope he gets the help he needs, but I mean, this guy
Oh,
needs to be like, he should not be allowed to fight no more
mm.
for a minute. I'm not one of them people that says like, oh, he should be canceled, but dude, you letting this guy fight or just like it just shows me that really people don't really care about people as long as they can help them.
Has the UFC issued a statement about it, or?
Not that I know of. They don't really give a shit.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think Dana White gives a shit. As long as Jon Jones is making him money, he could care less.
All right. Wow. Anyway, on a more positive note,
Yes.
in black sports, uh, Gabe Stevenson, we knew before he went into the Olympics that he had signed for a training deal with the WWE.
Hmm.
Comes out of the Olympics with a gold medal, and then he officially signs with the first ever image likeness deal with a college athlete. So not he signed with the WWE, but he's not dropping out of school or anything like that. He's going to finish off his year at Minnesota training in some kind of secret WWE camp. They have sites around all over the country. Are they training or recruiting camps?
From what I understand with the WWE, they have the Performance Center in Orlando. Him going to school in Minnesota would be fine because there's plenty of pro wrestling schools in Minnesota, and Minnesota is known for a lot of legendary pro wrestlers coming from there, like Vern Gagne, the American Wrestling Association. Ric Flair got his start there. Ricky Steamboat. A lot of guys came from Minnesota, so he went to the right place. And Brock Lesnar, he wrestled at Minnesota as well, so he's in good hands. They'll probably have a ring set up for him somewhere.
Mm. Okay, so is it common that like WWE recruits from like college wrestlers? Is that their pool?
Right now, they're not looking for people that have been professional wrestlers before. They're looking for athletes from different disciplines, like the wrestling, like the football, like the combat sports. From the people that I know in the game, they're saying that they are heavily recruiting people with no previous pro wrestling experience or very little that have a legitimate athletic background. And Gabe Stevenson, NCAA champion, Olympic champion, he's going to be a millionaire.
He definitely is. Like the initial training contract that he had was crazy. Like when we've talked about it before, especially when we watched that documentary on Netflix and we saw that fencers were living in mansions, there's really not that much money in jujitsu.
Mm-mm.
So it's a huge amount of money that he's gonna have. So is that money? But that money. So he also has like a name, image, and likeness deal, which is an NIL deal, which is something that I had to Google. So like we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about people that get a lot of money, like you just got $32,000, but if you don't have any like financial intelligence or you're going into like these contracts and you don't know how to have a lawyer review them, like those are
Mm-mm.
major. Um, what's the difference? Do you know what the difference between like the NIL contract and like what he's just getting paid from WWE, or like they one in the same thing? I would assume they were different.
The simplest way that I can put NIL in terms of is this. I'll give you context. Previously in college sports, you were not allowed to get paid off of your name, image, or likeness. When they had the NCAA football video games, they would not have you on the cover unless you had already graduated. So the previous year's best senior would be in on the cover. They didn't have the names of the players in the game because they wouldn't pay them. They could not get paid for their name, image, and likeness. It was virtually athletic slavery. They couldn't have jobs for the most part. If they found out that you got paid in any kind of way, like when my dad played college football, he said a lot of players that did well, they'd get like $100 handshakes from fans and stuff. That was not allowed. You could not get any money outside of your room and board, basically. You could have work study. I think you could have work study, and they would have boosters that would help you, but you really weren't allowed to get paid. You couldn't sign shit and get paid for it. Like if you were a football player 10 years ago and you had an autograph signing, and you got money for it, you're not eligible. The USC, University of Southern California Trojans, they had a dynasty, but all their championships got stripped away because one player was getting paid by boosters. Like his parents' house was paid for, and they got cars and shit paid for by fans or boosters. Now with the NIL, you can be sponsored. So I can be a college football player and get sponsored by a car dealership. All I got to do is do a commercial for them, and I get paid, and it's all legal. With the NIL, I can use my likeness in different things. If I wanted to have a YouTube channel now and I get paid off of it, I can. A few years ago, there was a college football kicker that had a YouTube channel, and they said you have to take it down or else you're not eligible and you lose your scholarship. So now basically the players have a little bit more autonomy of what they can do, and they can actually get what they deserve, which is being able to get paid off of their name, image, and likeness. And I heard a little bit about the schools have discretion, and some roundabout way the schools are still getting money out of them, but it's way less egregious now. And it's going to be helpful for Gabe because he can be a full-time college student, and not just the stipend he got from winning to go to the Olympics, but he can be sponsored by different people and get paid like a professional athlete. Because I hate to say it like this, but college sports, you're there to be an athlete. You're not there to get an education. It's hard to get an education and be a full-time college athlete. I mean, you heard a lot. Eli was saying the same thing. Like, it is hard. So now, if you're a professional, if you're on the fast track to be a professional athlete, you don't want to be a fucking accountant. I'm pretty sure Gabe is like, I want to be a wrestler, both a Olympic and a pro wrestler. Now I'm set. Now I don't have to be sneaking money under the table. I can get paid up front, and I have a pipeline to be a multi-millionaire.
Very well put. I feel like, yeah, very well put.
Mhm.
That was the black belt wisdom for this episode,
Oh
ladies and
yeah, for
gentlemen.
sure.
Damn, that was really well put.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
that's the best way I could do it. I'm probably a little bit wrong, but that's my understanding. But shit, most of these people listening right now aren't gonna read anything about it anyway. Hell, that's why you come to us.
That is so true. That is so true. And right now with that and like the era of the NFTs, that's kind of really perfect time for this all to be opening up. Because if you know how to, enter into that NFT sphere, there's a lot of money there.
Maybe I should make an NFT.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Interim these nuts.
Interim D's nuts. Yeah, we got a meeting tomorrow for some merch, folks, and you should be on the lookout for that. Is that it for us right now, Nico?
No, I have one more last wrestling. I like. I'm gonna go on like Patreon and then I'm gonna yell at Tim personally, but like I was trying to relate to Tim. I was watching the show Heels. So if any of you, I was trying to learn about wrestling without actually having to watch wrestling. Is really what it was. So I found the show Heels on Star. So you started watching it, right?
Yeah, I watched the first episode.
Is it really that dramatic? Like, it takes place in a small town of Georgia. These two, it's like I guess brothers have this family wrestling promotion, and just like the older brother, and I feel like I relate to him because he's worried that his younger brother is gonna like leave and go to like a big wrestling promotion, and Tim's gonna leave me for wrestling.
Come on, Nico. What are you talking about?
It's not just me. A lot of other people talk about it. Apparently, like, I don't know, wrestling's really popular. And every time you wear, like, a Ric Flair candle or a wrestling t-shirt, like,
yeah,
it gets the people rowdy.
it gets the people rowdy. You want to ask me, like, what I thought about it, right?
Yeah, what did you think about it?
I thought it was it used a lot of real terminology that wrestlers use. It's plausible in a lot of ways. Of course, I think with Hollywood, they kind of rush things, like they expedite it. Like, okay, this would not be like this quick. But I think all in all, it did a good job of at least attempting to make wrestling look more than just a sideshow. I like how they use the proper terms. I thought it was interesting how the first episode ended when he shot on his brother. So shooting on someone in professional wrestling is when you actually attack them for real. And so he shot on his brother. which, I mean, in actuality, if you watch the first episode, which you all should, that would probably never happen, and it would kill the territory, which would mean like it would kill the business. Like that promotion would be fucked up. Like if you do a finish like that, considering those circumstances, that'd be promotional malpractice. But I have to watch the rest of the season to
What is
know.
promotional malpractice? That sounds
Basically,
like
you
a
did a
legal
really
term.
idiotic business move as a wrestling promotion.
But it's not legally idiotic. It just doesn't go with like the fans.
It'd be
It's gonna be
it'd
like
be
the
really
death of
crazy to
your.
do. It could be the
Okay.
death of your promotion, I think, which is probably part of the drama of the show going forward. But I think all in all it was great. It's one of the better pro wrestling shows or movies. I'm a huge fan of Glow. I think Glow is the best professional wrestling fictional show in my opinion. It's on Netflix.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. I think
Gorgeous
okay.
Ladies of Wrestling is the best. If it,
Oh, that's why. That's why it's all
yes,
ladies.
it's
That's
the
like
best.
I know. It's like
And they
okay.
fucking canceled it.
I'm so sorry. I know that must have hurt you.
It did.
One last term about the terminology. What the heck does turning heel mean?
Turning heel means that you go from a baby face, which is a good guy, and you become a bad guy. A great example of this would be when Hulk Hogan turned into Hollywood Hogan and formed the NWO. Are you aware of this?
No, I know what the NWO is because I wanted to use it for something, and they're like, "Oh, like wrestling." And now I am gonna make my new World Order shirt because Tim's all into wrestling, and I'll just act like I knew that that was what I was doing.
That would be the most famous and most impactful heel turn. It's basically you go from a good guy to a bad guy, turncoat or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, got you, got you. It's like kind of when you're talking about like teaching kids classes, and then you try to mush someone.
No, that would not be a heel turn. That would be me being even more of a baby face because even children can appreciate kicking somebody's ass if they're talking shit about you. You
The
know.
terminology you're
Mushmaster
using.
is all for the kids, man. BJJ Goons is for the children.
All right, okay,
It is.
all right.
Yeah.
Like the little rugrats. All right, that's all I have then. Like that answers all of my wrestling questions, answers all of my, contract questions.
Yeah. If you have any further questions, just send them my way, Nico. And if you guys have any further questions, you can send them our way at BJJ Goons Podcast on Instagram. Where can we find you, though, Nico? If someone wants to slide in your DMs and hit your Cash App, bless you, give you a reunion at Western Union.
Cash App is Favela Jiu Jitsu everything. You can Cash App, for Venmo, Zelle maybe. Just got a new place, housewarming gifts, more than welcome. But you can also find me on Instagram at no new Nico underscore under all of that. Make sure to slide by favelajujitsu.com. We got some new merch coming out. We've had a lot of material coming out since I quit my job, and I got all this time to write. And Tim and I are going to be dropping some merch, and that's where we'll be selling it. I actually ordered some hoodies that I'm going to tell Tim about and be like, yeah, we're going to split this. Yeah, but it's going to be dope, I think. Either not.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, you can bless us so we can have a reunion at Western Union by going to patreon.com/BJJGoons. You have exclusive content like bonus episodes where sometimes it's just me and Nico giving you guys unedited, unfiltered information about us. This next Patreon set of episodes is going to be very good. You're going to enjoy them. We also have special guests on those Patreon episodes. And I show techniques. I do match breakdowns. I'm going to do a breakdown for each of my matches from the Who's Number One event. We have a private community there on our Patreon where our certified goons can come and hit us up. We got town halls coming up very soon. All that good stuff. And you can catch me at timspriggsbjj.com. I offer private lessons both in person and virtually. I offer match critiques where I watch film of your matches, I do a video review of them, and I give you cliff notes or just footnotes of what you should do with video examples. And my favorite thing to do for my clients on timspriggsbjj.com are the BJJ game plans. I make a flow chart for you with all your best techniques and positions and attacks, and I make them in a chart from the beginning of the match to the end so you know exactly what to drill and what will give you the best results. And of course, I'm trying to get that blue check mark So make sure you follow me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook too, but I'm not really on there. Instagram is where it's at. Give me a follow. Tell Instagram stop playing around with me and give me a damn blue check mark because I'm the best grappler in the world.
Watch where you swinging that belt, son.
Sorry. All right, guys. This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Interim these nuts. Peace.